My sister called CPS on my husband and I. Now that the case has been closed, I have no idea how to confront her. Original post. My sister, 32 female, and I have always been close. Every year she spends Christmas Eve sleeping over with her fiancé, 31 male, and helps us get the toys from Santa built and set up for Christmas morning. We call ourselves Santa's helpers and have a lot of fun with it. This year, she spent the night and saw my husband and father disciplining our son, 13 male. Our son is now a teenager and likes to ignore us when we ask him to do something, pretend he doesn't know how to do something incredibly simple, slam doors, and display general teenage sassy behavior. His teachers at school have noticed it as well, so it's something we're working on at home. Our discipline style is somewhere between tough love and talk it out. Every time a conflict at home arises, my son does the argue and flip out, and then run upstairs and slam the door thing. My husband will wait 10 minutes, then go upstairs and have a heartfelt, meaningful dialogue with him. This happened on Christmas Eve. He told his 3-year-old sister Santa wasn't real, and we both immediately told him that wasn't okay. He started arguing with us. It led to the same typical back and forth. The difference was that my sister and her fiancé were present. Neither of them said anything and went about our usual Christmas Eve routine. Everything seemed fine. Our son apologized and went to bed. Upon his return to school after break, a CPS worker showed up and pulled him out of class to interview him about how his parents treat him. He told them he loved his parents and that things at home were fine. He explained that when we discipline him, we sometimes ground him and take away his electronics for a week. Sometimes he argues with us, but he knows that when we discipline him, we do it because we love him and want him to grow and learn. Now, a little detail about the month of December and its difficulties. I have a seizure disorder. I have not had a seizure in 10 years, but in the month of December, out of nowhere, I had 3 back-to-back. I was sitting at my neurologist's office preparing for an EEG sleep study when I got a call that went to voicemail from that same CPS worker saying that the next day, she would be coming to our house to interview us and our 3-year-old. I immediately shared the number and voicemail with my husband and told him to call her back right away because I couldn't. So the very next day, after an exhausting round of seizure tests, she came over. When she arrived, we got a better picture of the accusations made against us. 1. She claimed my husband was an alcoholic with anger issues. 2. She claimed we were starving our 3 children and had no food in the house. To answer the first accusation, it was Christmas Eve. All of our family was there, drinking eggnog or wine. No one in the house got sloshed except my sister, who drank an entire 18-pack of beer by herself that night. We do not have a drinking problem. It was a holiday with family and a delicious meal I spent all day preparing. My husband does not have anger problems whatsoever. We were upset at what our son said to his sister, but not in any way that would justify saying anyone in this house has anger issues. My dad and my husband pulled our son aside to talk to him about it. I really don't understand this one. To answer accusation number 2, as the CPS worker toured our house, we showed her our pantry, fridge, and freezer. She literally laughed out loud and said, "There's enough food here to feed everyone in this house for 3 months. We are absolutely not starving our kids at all, and that was obvious right away." When the CPS worker was packing up to leave, she stated, "I'm grateful to be handling a case in a functional home with happy, healthy kids. Usually it's quite the opposite." Today she called us back and is closing the case by the end of today. She does not believe any further action is needed, and our risk score is low. After talking to my parents and brother, they all agree this was most likely my sister, based on their conversations with her, though she has not outright admitted it. Everyone agrees this was the last thing my family needed while dealing with my health issues and restructuring our lives and schedules around the reality that I can't drive for 6 months, so I can't work. My husband and I see this as a major betrayal. I'm still reeling from the reality that a family member I've always been so close with and trusted would make such an impulsive, dishonest, and frankly cruel decision like this. I have spent weeks trying to figure out how to confront her, as she has not fully admitted to doing this, but has heavily implied it to everyone who has spoken to her. She went from being overly communicative the day of the interview, demanding that I call her and tell her how it went, and generally blowing up my phone, to being silent and not speaking to me for weeks after I told her it went fine. I believe she knows I assume she did this. I want to have a conversation with her, but I do not know how to do it. I feel betrayed by my sister and incredibly hurt. I do not want to react emotionally, but I do want her to know this was wrong. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Does your sister have children? Is she jealous of your life? I don't know. Maybe I'm off base, but I can't help wondering if she was hoping CPS would take the kids and place them in her home. I would get proof that she was the one who made the call, then immediately cut her out. My sister can't have children actually. She was always the sibling who wanted the big family with tons of kids, which seems a little like a rage-induced motive to me, and definitely like family would get first dibs on the kids before foster care. You said she was the one who got drunk. Is this routine? Drunks lie. A lot. You need to protect yourself and your family from the damage she can cause. You do not want CPS in your life. Ever. Yeah, she definitely has an alcohol problem. We saw it on full display at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everyone in the family was concerned, but she lashes out when anyone tries to talk to her about the bad things she does, which makes the thought of even saying anything difficult. I cannot give good advice, as what I would do in this situation would land me in prison. I don't know how or if I would confront her. Where are your parents in this? Why aren't they giving her hell? For sure, she would never be welcomed into my home again, and her relationship with my children would be completely over. And I mean completely. No calls, no texts, no visits, no interactions, no visiting with her at your parents' house. Nothing. You don't threaten my family and then have a relationship with them. I would be done. Personally, I think you should be done because you need to know that you can never, ever trust her again. Ever. My parents aren't giving her hell yet because they've been trying to gather information from her while she's gone silent on me. I definitely plan to go no contact for a while. The sad part is, she's been progressively unstable and getting worse over the years. I feel like I've lost my sister. This feels like a betrayal I'm not sure she can come back from without a lot of work on her end, and not anytime soon. I want to confront her and let her know that I know this was her, that she put my kids at serious risk by making baseless accusations, and that she will not be welcome at my son's birthday next week, nor will she be welcome here for a long time. Quick small update. My brother wants to coordinate a lunch where we sit down with her to discuss this. He doesn't think me texting her is a good idea, so that may happen, but I don't even know if I can look her in the eye right now. I intend to bring up the drinking issues and concerns for her mental health during this conversation, but also try to get to the truth. I will have one final update after this with more answers. Thank you, everyone. Now for the last update. She ended up reaching out to me and telling me how much she loved me. I responded by saying that I had a question to ask and that I needed her to be honest with me. She called me immediately. She opened by saying, I think you already know the answer if you're asking this question. So yes, it was me. I followed up with, do you realize what could have happened to my kids? To me and my husband? Do you realize how bad the outcome of this could have been? She began to rant and yell. She said my husband and I don't deserve to be parents, that I obviously don't care about my kids because I hadn't even brought them up. Even though I literally opened with, do you realize what could have happened to my kids? Literally my first question. I think she was drunk again during this call. She just kept yelling and ranting and I couldn't get a word in. I kept asking if I could speak, but she wouldn't stop going off. The only words out of my mouth that she heard were, you realize we are going to be taking a very long break from you, right? And her response was, I'm sure you will, and I don't care. Then she resumed ranting. So I calmly told her that if she was not going to let me speak, I was going to hang up. At this point, her ranting was incoherent, something about how she cares more about my kids than anyone. Obviously not if she thinks what she did was okay, and thinks that showing my kids she cares about them means putting them at risk and ensuring that they are also losing a family member as a result of her actions. Then sure, I guess that's caring. I once again calmly stated that I was going to hang up if she wouldn't let me speak. Unfortunately, that's where this phone call ended. I hung up and blocked her immediately, then called our father. I told him that the way she was behaving on the phone sounded like she was incredibly unstable and either drunk, having a manic episode, or both, and that he should call her just to try to calm her down and get through to her. It sounds like he was going to immediately, though I don't know. I am devastated and still reeling from this. I knew it was her, but I really wanted the slim chance that it wasn't true, even if I knew it was impossible. Hearing her say it sent chills down my spine. She said it so indignantly and like she was proud of her actions, and then devolved into unhinged ranting. Last night, I officially lost my sister. I will be going no contact from here on out, but my heart is broken. My dad clearly didn't want to believe it was her either, because I heard his tone change instantly when I said she had admitted it. My dad sounded like he was on the verge of tears, and quite frankly, I don't blame him. She just caused a massive rift in our family. I didn't even get to bring up the accusations. I really would have loved to ask her where the hell she came up with the idea that we are starving our kids and have no food in the house. She has never left our house hungry, and our kids have never gone hungry. I would have loved an answer to that, but never got a word in once she started going off. I also would have loved to ask her about the drunken anger issues accusation, because it was clear and on display on the phone last night that she is the one who is drunk and angry, not my husband. Of course, I would have loved to make that observation, but again, I never got to speak once she started. This is my final update. I have no idea how I feel today besides heartbroken and numb. I want to thank everyone who commented with words of support and advice. It meant a lot to me and really helped inform how I was going to handle this moving forward. I wish I had been wrong, but I wasn't. I'm worried that because of her reaction on the phone last night, she might retaliate. I have no idea if she will. I hope speaking to my dad helped. I'm a little on edge today and sad, but I'm just hoping to move forward from this in peace. I hate to be part of a club where siblings weaponize CPS because they're jerks. My brother called on us a few years ago, except we're not close, and he hadn't seen my children with his own eyes in over 2 years. Same MO. Said we were drunks and put our kids in danger. The caseworker came over and saw 2 well-cared-for kids with 2 very sober parents, and our case was dismissed. I don't talk to him anymore. I block him whenever he finds new ways to message me. I'm sorry it happened. She won't ever give you a good reason for calling. My brother never has. I would definitely go no contact or low contact since you were close and not let her see the kids anymore. You don't get to mess with my kids and still expect a relationship with any of us. I am so sorry that happened to you. I hate how messed up it is when it's a family member you didn't realize was so willing to hurt you in profound ways that defy logic. I don't ever expect her to properly address this or provide any explanation. I can't trust her not to do something like that again. People who hurt others operate in cycles, and that's exactly what this is starting to look like. But out of everyone in my family that she has done something awful to, this is the worst thing she's ever done. I just want her to know what her impulsive actions could have caused. Have you called your sister's fiancé to see what's going on? No, I received confirmation from my sister herself. She is now blocked, and I won't be calling her fiancé. I'm unfortunately also running into the new issue of certain family members still wanting me to invite her to gatherings. They don't agree with what she did, but she's still my sister, and they think I should move on, which is not happening anytime soon. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law that her strictly confidential information had already been leaked by her own mother, which caused a massive family fight? My sister-in-law holds a political office in the municipality where we live. During a conversation, she confided in me a strictly confidential piece of information on the condition that I would not tell anyone, not even my partner, her brother. However, she also told me that she had shared it with her mother, my mother-in-law, who was likewise not supposed to pass it on. So for 4 days, the only people who were meant to keep this to themselves were my mother-in-law and me. On the 4th day, today, there was going to be a meeting with the people concerned, and the information would be shared with them anyway. After that, it could also be published within the family. So I promised her I would keep the information to myself, which I did. The day after our conversation, my partner, her brother, approached me and told me he had a secret piece of information to share. At first, I didn't react. He kept talking, and it quickly became clear that he was referring to that exact secret. I interrupted him and said that I was already aware of it, without specifying what it was about. I then asked him where he had gotten the information, and he said that his mother had told him. A few hours later, my sister-in-law came to visit, and I let her know that, unfortunately, her mother had passed the secret on. She confronted her, and it led to a huge argument. After that, my partner confronted me and blamed me for the entire situation. He says the family is now in conflict because I didn't keep my mouth shut and told my sister-in-law that the secret had been shared. It's also important to mention that during the confrontation, my mother-in-law lied. First, she claimed she hadn't told him anything. Then she said that her husband, their father, who by the way was not supposed to know either, had probably told him. Then she accused me of telling him. Now I'm in a fight with my partner because he gave me confidential information that I wasn't supposed to pass on, but I informed the original source of that confidential information that it had been shared. So basically, my partner says I am the a-hole because he told me the secret and I ran to my sister-in-law, the source. Am I the a-hole for feeling responsible for letting my sister-in-law know that the information had been spread, which ultimately caused a huge fight? I would prefer not to have a discussion about whether it was responsible of my sister-in-law to put me in the situation and tell me the secret. She doesn't have many people to talk to, and she knows she can trust me. Sometimes you have to talk to someone and share information in order to relieve pressure. My partner confronted me and blamed me for the entire situation. He says the family is now in conflict because I didn't keep my mouth shut. I think it's pretty obvious that the family is in conflict because his mother couldn't keep her mouth shut, and you caught her and called her out. If she had kept your sister-in-law's confidence in the first place, there wouldn't be anything to have a conflict about. That's what I'm thinking. Not the a-hole for telling her someone leaked the info. However, if this was related to her work and she was meant to be keeping the information secret, you might have a moral and ethical duty to report her for telling anyone the information. I know you don't want to have that discussion, but she very likely broke an actual sworn oath related to keeping secret information confidential and breached the duties of her office. That's a far bigger issue than a family spat. No, she didn't, but thank you for your input. It was a secret connected to her political position, but not top secret. It was a strategic matter that needed to remain confidential for a couple of days.